All right, guys. It is early fall, rains and cooler air temperatures, and uh, fish are getting out of those summertime patterns. We're hearing a lot of rumors of the lakes already turning over. That was a couple of weeks ago. I don't think that was the legit turnover. I think that was some partial turnover around mid lake. But these stripers are going to be still in deep water. Uh, your crappie are starting to move shallow. You're gonna Before long, you're gonna be starting to look at the mouths of the creeks and points and humps and some surface activity is going to be firing up. You're going to start getting some birds, and you can fishing's about to get good. A lot of these guys that are hunting this time of year, they miss out on some of the best fishing of the year.
Let them hunt. Let them hunt.
I make a post every year about people hunting deer with high-powered rifles, and dude, I tell you, I pull them in every year. People go off. I listen. Them hunters go all to hell if you say something about killing a poor old deer with a damn high-powered rifle.
The hunters do.
Yeah, you didn't see that post I made?
Well, that's what they use. They use high-powered rifles.
No, I said how hard is it to kill a dumb animal with a high-powered rifle? Really? Yeah. Oh, and it takes off from there.
It's even
notifications off.
It's even worse than that. They go buy bags of corn and pour out corn, and they hide and wait on them to come eat the corn and then shoot them while they're eating corn.
Yeah, there's no sport in it at all. But
yeah, doesn't seem very sporty.
Not at all.
It's like meat hunters, but land version, right? There you go.
It's kind of like us putting bait on the hook, waiting for a fish to bite and stick his ass.
No, because we can't see the fish.
Yep.
You can see deer. They're out there walking around in the woods. You can see them.
Yeah. So back to fall fishing. One thing that I guess everyone can agree upon is that this year is different than the last 3 or 4 years. You remember the last 3 or 4 years, it's been 90 degrees through Halloween. This year, it's actually fall for once. So things are trending like they should, I guess. Things are starting to turn on slowly. But this is starting to get pretty good. Starting to get pretty good like it should. Let's leave it at that. So, yeah.
Yeah. We should be experiencing a real turnover pretty soon, and that's going to scatter the fish. And that might be when it's time to go target some crappie.
Well, it's always time to target crappie, but I guess different styles, Right now they're still on brush, but it's literally teetering on the edge of these fish pulling off brush right now.
What's the water temp? I didn't even look the last time I went out.
On the 78 where I was at today.
Yeah, I went fishing this past weekend, and we were able to finally find some shad, some big gizzard shad. But we threw the net at several dock lights. We got out there right before dark, and on our way to our fishing spot, we come across some dock lights. Buddy pulled his boat up. I threw the net out, and we hit this one dock light, and we netted probably 100 big crappie. I'm talking like
those were studs. I saw that video. Yeah,
there were several in there that were close to a pound, and the smallest crappie in there was probably over 10 inches. And it was a net full of them. And
were you above 150 or below 150? I'm just curious.
I was right just below.
Gotcha.
I wasn't even on Lake Norman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't even on Lake Norman.
All right, Wiley.
But yeah, I was on Wiley. But yeah, eliminating water. Late fall and this when the water temps down into the 50s, mid 60s, the bait's going to start moving into the backs of the creeks. The stripers are going to follow them, and it kind of, certain times of the year you're able to eliminate a lot of water, and I feel like fall is. Especially late fall is one of those times a year where you can, not have to kill yourself, because Lake Norman's huge. Lake Norman is a lot of real estate, lot of real estate.
Yep.
And if you could just pick one area, maybe one half, split it in two, maybe spend some time on the upper part of Lake Norman, the upper half of Lake Norman, and then maybe spend some time another trip, or another, set apart another several months of your life to learn the bottom half of Lake Norman, or vice versa. Because there's going to be fish, and we were kind of struggling this past weekend, and I was Alan and I we were both debating on where we should go, and what if we'd went here, what if we'd went there, and I swear I've came to the conclusion that I honestly believe that if you're struggling, everybody's struggling. I do.
Roll that for sure. Yep.
Got a question for y'all.
What you got, Wes?
I bought a bubbler. I did. I bought a 30-gallon bait tank for the skiff, which is perfect. I could walk around it, low profile. So I was just going to put a bubbler on. Well, I've got the bubbler that's got 2 outlets to it. So you put 2 diffusers on it. Okay. But there's also a thing that you can buy, and it didn't say the name of it. It just had a picture of it. And the way it showed it run was 1 diffuser in there, but this other thing would like pull oxygen. It said you could put 96% of dissolved oxygen in the water with this fitting, but it don't say what the fitting is on the bubbler, the bubbler box. You know what I'm talking about? Bubblers. That's the brand. And it's got 2 outlets on it. Do you know what I'm talking about, or what that's kind of like a Danco, I guess, but a Danco works on water moving across something. This is just supposed to pull it out of the air and put it in there.
I guess so. You could choose your air source that it's pulling the air from.
Have you ever seen that?
I'm not sure, Wes. I used to be pretty big time in the fish tanks and stuff, and as you talk about it, I really have no clue, to be honest with you, unless something different, something new that's out now.
What's the brand of it, Wes? And I'll try to pull it up on the screen.
That's what I was going to do. Bubbler, bubble box. It's a 12-volt bubbler.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the one like everybody has.
Yeah.
Let's hit share screen. See if we can pull this up here.
Yeah, this one right here, JR. But in the directions, it says there's a, let's see. Damn it. Oh, there we go. Hold on. That one right there.
Hold it. Go down.
Power bubbles.
Power bubbles.
But there says that on the direction.
It's got 2 stones on it.
Yeah, but you can take one of the stones off, and there's some kind of fitting you can buy to fit up in the top of your bait tank and hook the other hose to it. And it says it can create up to 96% dissolved oxygen. I wish I'd have kept that paper.
Be right back.
Okay.
We'll see if I can find it in here. Let's see. Let's see. Power bubbles. Let's see.
Oof.
Damn, I wish I knew what they call. I was going to order one, but it didn't say what it was, or it just showed a fitting up there. Let's see. Let's see. Aerator. Let's see. Large.
This one guy in the review says that he runs 1 line from both outlets.
Yeah, you can put a T in it. Okay, let's see. Let's do this.
This guy uses 1 air hose, goes to the minnows, the other to his live well. And finally, the live well one quit pumping air. Not too bad for as many continuous hours as it ran. I guess it's just so you could aerate 2 different bait wells.
No, it was showing one tank, but there was a fitting there. It said you could run one hose off of it, and it you could get up to 96% dissolved oxygen. Damn, I wish I could find that thing. Hold on, let me get my glasses. That would be, that sounded like maybe too good to be true on a damn $40 bubbler, you know.
Yeah, it's just so you could bubble more of an area. Like, did you see this picture I have pulled up here?
But what's that fitting called?
Hang on a second. Here we go. I can share this now. Stop screen, share screen. Can you see that, Wes?
Yeah.
You see how he's got it on the side of his cooler, and he's got one stone on one side of the cooler, the other stone on the other side of the cooler. So he's able to aerate the entire area of the volume of the cooler instead of just one particular area of the cooler. I think that's probably what it's for.
Okay. Well, no, it says there's a weighted glass bead air stone that provides greater dissolved oxygen, produces 99.5% saturated of dissolved oxygen.
Yeah.
What is saturated dissolved oxygen?
That is the size of the bubbles. The more dissolved the oxygen is, the more of the tiny bubbles you'll have. You know, if less dissolved oxygen will be larger bubbles. So it's just a finer way of making oxygen. It makes kind of like you know what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm describing it terribly, but it's that's a million tiny bubbles instead of 100 big bubbles.
Oh, okay. I wish I knew what they called that. Let's 1 minute.
I gotta go laugh at Jason's question. Hey, Jason, man, they're always turned on, but just a matter of your style, I guess. Trolling artificial, I guess. I would probably guess with the way things are trending weather-wise, I'd say right around the first week of November, probably should start getting very good.
Damn, I wish I shouldn't have threw that paper away. But anyway, it's some kind of fitting. And it showed it mounted at the top of the bait tank. You put your regular diffuser over there, then you put your other diffuser in there, and it's supposed to put dissolved oxygen
while they're blowing bubbles. I know Wes is pretty stuck on this bubbler.
I know, right? Came out of nowhere.
I don't know what that's called. Okay,
Thomas just gave you the answer, he says, Wes. He says, marinemetal.com, under accessories, they have 2 different diffusers you can purchase. You got that long stone that you could use that you used in your trout tank?
Yeah, that thing don't pump hard enough to.
You know, hang tight 1 second. I got something.
It might would, JR. Let's see. We'll try one more thing. Let's see.
So I just realized I had this my little storage unit right here. Wes, you might might like this. This might be what you're looking for, possibly. It's a little snake hose.
Uh-huh.
But this is pretty damn good. If you come over here in a couple weeks, it's yours if you want.
What does it got? A bunch of holes in it?
Yeah, it's the next. It's like I'll zoom in here a little bit, but that's where you put in the hose right there, that little nipple, and it's basically like a stone except a snake, where you can, I guess, wrap it wherever you want. It does sink to the bottom of the tank, but it's flexible, bendable, and it puts out a lot of bubbles.
Yeah, hold on to it for me.
I like the
It's yours. Come over here, it's yours.
I like the like a bilge pump with a hose and like a capped off piece of PVC tubing with holes drilled in it. Like I don't feel like you can get any better than that when it comes to.
That's actually so. I remember using that many moons ago, keeping shrimp alive for trout fishing. But it put out very small bubbles that worked pretty good.
Hey, has anybody used these? Check out the snap on this thing. It just goes in and out like that. It's so easy, so simple. Boom. Sinker slide.
I used to use those back in the McGuire days.
He says that Daryl said an oxygen tank takes a special stone, different from a bubbler stone. But could you use that special stone with a bubbler? I don't see why you couldn't.
I think it depends on how much oxygen some of these bubblers actually put out or pump out, or however you want to say it. So there may be some truth to that.
Daryl
yes.
Barney said, I'll sell you a 30-gallon SBT with a spray bar. Great for trout. How much you selling that thing for, Daryl?
Whatever Daryl says, I'll sell the same one for $5 less.
I got a 30-gallon SBT. Well, it's not mine. I sold it to Alan for $100, but I told him he's got to let me use it anytime I want to. So basically, he basically just gave me $100 for nothing because I'm gonna use it anytime I want to. That was the deal. So
That's a pretty good deal.
I'm gonna find this shit. This is killing me.
Oh man. Whew.
Well, we're gonna have to take over the show. Our talker is preoccupied. Take over the show,
right?
Pete.
Look, he looks like an old man with his glasses down.
It looks
below
like
his
Orville
nose right
Redenbacher.
there, concentrating. Look at the concentration right there.
I got you over Redenbacher.
That's Orville Redenbacher.
Damn.
Damn it, boy.
$500, man. Are you outside of your damn mind?
Damn, he ain't totally outside of it, is he?
Damn, $500 for a 30-gallon SBT? Shit.
You know, the way these damn bait tanks
No
are
way.
selling, he could probably sell that shit for $600.
Yeah, bait tanks are stupid high now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd quit fishing before I bought a 30-gallon SBT used for $500.
I got a 30-gallon SBT that is a workbench in my shed.
I mean, maybe if it was
Been sitting there for 10 years now.
maybe if it was in brand new condition, maybe. But, yeah. I'd get a Rubbermaid container before I did that. I mean, they're so tiny. A 30-gallon SBT, it's not a very big tank, but I think it's 30 gallons with the filter box. Like, it's not like a Shad Shack. Like a 30-gallon Shad Shack, I think, is actually a 30-gallon bait side, not including the filter box side. I think the SBT is 30-gallon. It's just a welded tank. Why are these tanks so expensive? I don't understand it, man. I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah, right.
But you ask these striper fishermen that are in the know, they'll say that there's no money in bait tanks. I don't see how when you're selling. I mean, you're selling you're less than a sheet of plastic for $1,000. How's there no money in that? I don't get it. I mean, Chris Hovis ran a bait tank business by himself. You know, if he can
If
he
Chris
can run it
Hovis
by-
can do it, anybody can
if
do
he
it.
can run it by himself and,
Yeah.
and sell them, make them, make $1,000 each off of them. I mean, I don't know. I feel like you're probably going to have times it's going to fluctuate. You're going to have times where you sell a lot of them, and then you're going to have times where you don't.
You know, a lot of them now they're putting these new pumps in them that's not like a bilge pump. It's some kind of brushless pump that supposedly will run for like 286,000 hours,
Right.
nonstop, lower amp draw. Then you got the roto molded tanks, you know. But yeah, there's not these bait tanks are just, and there again, people keep buying them. Price will stay the same. If people go for about 6 months and not buy one of these motherfuckers, they'd get down there real quick.
Yeah,
Real quick.
you're right.
Mm. $50-gallon Extreme is $2,200 at Bass Pro. Well, it's rotomolded. I'd rather spend $2,000 on a rotomolded 50-gallon than I would $1,200 on a welded.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Don't ask me. I know nothing.
Who put that up there?
What?
Who put that link?
Oh, about Bass Pro Shop. Well, for last I checked, I seen that a couple of months ago. Bass Pro Shops, if you click on Extreme Bait Tanks, they don't never have them in stock. I already know why they're advertising them.
Dustin says that Extremes are welded. Does Extreme not make a rotomolded tank too?
I don't think so. They may make this a 30-gallon. They may. I don't think so. I think all their tanks are welded.
So they're wanting $2,200 for a welded tank.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah. I mean, you got the guys in Tennessee using those black Rubbermaid containers, with a makeshift lid on them, keeping skipjack alive in them. Show me a 30 or even a 50-gallon super bait tank that can keep skipjack alive without oxygen. You can't. It comes with 2 lights, 3 pumps, and a lid that opens 3 ways. Yeah, I'm sure it's a nice tank. $2,200. Come on, man.
Better be nice for that.
You can buy a boat for $2,200.
Fuck yeah. You get an outboard for that. Albeit a small one.
For $2,200.
Hell, you can get you a brand new Minn Kota for that.
Yeah. You get a 50 horsepower tiller.
Yeah.
10 years old, still running like a champ.
So fall fishing, let's get back on subject. We got sidetracked here talking about bubblers and shit. Fall fishing. So talking about these fish moving, give example here. I had 2 guide trips, one about, let's say 3 days ago. My boat has not touched Baden Lake in several weeks, or let's say a month, I guess. So I was kind of winging it the first day. And first thing I did, crappie fishing, of course, check some of my deep brush piles, 20 to, we'll say 30 feet, I guess. So I had 3 prime brush piles out there, pulled in there, nothing. All 3 of them, nothing. So that told me, all right, these fish are starting to move out of the main lakes and either heading up lake, down lake, into the creeks, staging creek mouths, somewhere thereabouts. So abandoned that plan and started moving towards the mouths of creeks. And lo and behold, there they were staging off these main lake points on the brush piles there. Boom, thousands on brush piles. So just shows that they're starting to move towards the back of the creeks, and the shad were there with them as well.
Hey, JR, Thomas
Yes,
Walker, just send him an invite right quick. You want to come on?
Okay.
All right.
I got you, Thomas. All right, there you go, Thomas. You should have it now. There he is. Something I've noticed in the fall when it comes to stripers, they'll, once the turnover, hits and we're done with that. Let me get, there he is. It seems like the fish will move shallow, like, less than 20 feet of water. And when they're in that shallow water, they're not as easy to mark. So that's when you kind of got to go on like instinct and go where you think they should be, What's going on, Thomas? Welcome to the show.
What's up?
He's studying.
Trying to see if I can meet good. What's going on? I think I'm
on,
muted
man?
here.
You took you a little break from fishing there, didn't you? Couple months. Take a couple months off.
Yeah, real busy. Had a lot going on. Had to step back.
Yeah, I mean, well, you kind of needed a break. You were fishing a little too much, bud. Sometimes you got to step back and kind of be on the outside looking in for a few minutes.
That's what I've been doing for the last 3 months.
Wes, we literally just got back from Tennessee like last week.
That wasn't fishing. Well, yeah, we did. Okay. Kevin Wallace said, keep brim in a bucket and get you a 65-pounder. That's right. A catfish will eat anything. They'll eat a hot shit if you can keep it on the hook.
So will a striper. You can catch anything on anything. I've caught stripers
Right now,
on
down
marshmallows.
here in the southern lakes and Santee, everything's on transition right now. I mean, everything's turning over.
I've heard from one guy said that he caught a bunch of crappie that were just slimy as shit, and he was scared to eat them.
That's just the heat. I mean, that's warm water. I mean, that happens every year. I don't care where you're at. Doesn't matter what lake it is.
That's right.
But they'll get slimy as a catfish. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell something I noticed this year that I've never seen before, but this is a different lake that I fished that I hadn't really fished much at all. There were some crappie I filleted that their meat was actually yellow, like almost like channel cat yellow.
Channel cat yellow.
Channel cats aren't yellow.
Well, how you get that little the very top fat layer?
Yes, that's fat.
Yellow. That yellow.
Listen, I ain't never caught a fish in my life that'll slime your line from the hook up to your fucking leader, other than a catfish.
All fish have slime.
They roll around.
All fish have slime, and if they didn't have scales, they would be sliming your leader too.
Well, I ain't never seen slime on my line from a striper. Never.
It's just they have scales. The scales help dissipate, distribute the slime, hide the slime.
But then again, I remember watching a video of you guys
fish.
catching stripers, and I don't know, somebody on the boat was complaining about all the slime, and I think it was you, Wes, when you were in the Chesapeake Bay. Well,
Oh no! I was complaining about the sea lice, not slime.
wow.
Good save. Good save. What's going on, Thomas? Since you've started back fishing, you probably done stuck a couple pigs, hadn't you?
Biggest I put in the boat recently is 39 pounds.
39's good.
Actually, we only really fished heavy Saturday night. That was it. We're gonna get back into it next month. We had to take a break, and with the heat and everything, we don't pressure the fish during the hot times.
Speaking of pressure in the fish, do you think we're gonna come up, or are we already experiencing like less big fish? I feel like on my home lakes, other than Norman just turned on recently in the last couple of years, actually started to become a pretty decent trophy catfish lake. Before then, it wasn't. But Lake Wiley around here locally and Watery has always been the trophy lakes around here. Well, I've been looking at some weigh-ins of some tournaments on Wiley and Watery too. And like I got in a tournament last year on Watery, and the winning weight was a 3-fish weigh-in, and the winning weight was 90 pounds, and everybody was talking about how great that was. And I was like, 90 pounds for 3 fish. And sure enough, all 3 fish were around upper 20s to low 30s. So they were all pretty much cookie cutter fish,
Watery's a cookie cutter lake. I mean, that's a fact. Anybody that fishes it knows it's a fact. I mean, look at the weigh-ins on the Southeast. When the Southeast was there, I mean, they would be within ounces of each other. You'd have 20 spots, and everybody's within an ounce of each other. I mean, it's a cookie cutter lake. And don't get me wrong, there's some nice big fish in there that haven't, whichever ones haven't been taken out of there. There'll be a few left. Hell, Zachary Taylor popped a couple nice ones a couple of years back. Somebody else popped one on Watery not long ago. I think it was like a 70-something pounder on Watery. Wiley still has good cats. I mean,
it just don't seem like you're seeing
as
as many.
Fishing it. I'm going to tell you that now. It depends who's fishing it. You got guys that are going to chase big fish, and you guys are just going to go out and drown bait to try to catch fish.
I don't think that it's producing as many big fish as it was. I'm not seeing that many big fish come out of Wiley like we were in years past. And I think it's a time
frame. I know last year, every time Zach Taylor went out and brought the Flathead Luke with him, they killed it.
Yeah, what, a year or two ago?
Yeah, about a year or two ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like since then, like it's recently is what I'm talking about. It's went down. Hasn't been.
Unless they're being harvested out and taken somewhere where people are eating them, the fish are there. You know, Watery's just got so many numbers in it. I mean, you go to the Watery and catch 30 fish in a day. And, you know, what is your biggest fish going to be? 29 pounds? You're going to be between 20 and 29 pounds. That's what you're going to do for fish. You go down to Santee, I mean, you got guys pulling in damn near 100-pound fish. And that fishery isn't hurting at all. I mean, there's beautiful fish in Santee. But I think it's got a better quality of water than those other lakes as well.
Do you think that the tournaments are taking a toll?
There you go. There you go. Absolutely. That'll work fine. 5-inch or a 3-inch on that. And it has to be that company because any other stone, Wes, you're not going to be able to push enough oxygen. I mean, not enough air through a bubbler with it. You know, like the stones that I use Penn Airs, and I got to use oxygen bottles.
Yeah, that's what I've got, a Penn Air. Well, those bait, me and JR looked at it when I got home. The reason my bait died, you know, all these people like to make these snide-ass comments, and just for all y'all that talk shit about my bait, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
Wore my hose clamp where it went on the regulator. It actually wore a little hole in it, but it wasn't big enough so you could hear it. So I lost all most of my oxygen from where that hose was cut. So
I just bought a 10-pack. I keep them on my boat just in case I got an issue with them. I can swap it out real fast.
Yeah, I was gonna say next time.
Too many situations where I'm in a tournament line, and you know, next thing you know, I'm not blowing oxygen. My fish is struggling. It's crazy. It's just like keeping an extra prop on your boat. Now I'm keeping an extra belt for my trolling motor on the boat. I had a bad experience with that this past weekend too.
We got Robinson's Catfish Lake right up above the house here, right off High Shoals exit up 321. A lot of big fish in Robinson's. A lot of big 40, 50-pound flatheads, 40, 50-pound blues. It's a little pay lake, a little small pay lake. When I say small, I mean it's really small. And I know those fish aren't lasting very long in there. My question is, where are they getting those fish? And do you think that maybe these lakes like Wiley, for example, I believe Wiley's taken a turn for the worse over the last year. And I just wonder if it's because of Robinson. Are they getting their fish from Wiley? And
well, I mean, are they getting it from Wiley? They're getting it from another lake. You got a couple guys out there that are harvesting them out. And I'm going to tell you right now, the DNR doesn't watch like they say they watch. I know that for a fact. When you see full-blown trucks pulling out of the hatchery down at Santee at 3 o'clock in the morning, slap full of catfish that they all caught in nets, and you don't see a DNR guy in sight, where are they going? They're going to, you know, they're probably getting more money from the pay pods than they are getting from, you know, whoever's processing fish.
Well, the hatchery, that'd be small fish, right? That'd be farm raised small hatchery fish.
No, it's just a part of the lake that we call the hatchery.
Oh, I got you. Over there near the hatchery.
Yeah. It's shallow water, and a lot of fish hang out in the hatchery. A lot of fish. You'll catch some hammers in there sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, while you're on here, Thomas or JR, have y'all heard whatever become of the deal in the James River about them wanting to actually target and kill catfish because they were labeled them as an invasive species? Whatever happened with that?
Well, that's an ongoing thing right now. I was just up in Virginia with Christian Moore and about 10 other guys, and we did a tagging program with the DNR. And basically what we were looking to do, they were saying that all the big catfish were going down into the Chesapeake Bay and eating all the blue crab. So what we did for 2 days straight is anything over 50 pounds, we tagged and we released. So now they're going to do a study on it. Because just like if somebody comes out bitching and they got the right lobbyists behind them, they're going to pass any law that's going on. Until you have facts and statistics behind anything, you can't push back.
Yeah,
well, right
you can.
now they're trying to
Yeah,
eradicate.
you can. Hell yeah, fucking Democrats push back on anything. It don't matter. You can put shit right in their face.
I understand what you're saying there, but when you got these smaller areas and not on a big scale, there's a totally different issue. Lobbyists are gonna, they're gonna do their thing with their money and they're gonna push their points. Now, if you don't have any statistics, you don't have anything to work with. So you get somebody saying that the blues are eating all the blue crabs. Well, now we got to kind of prove that out. So we're tagging a bunch of big fish, and they're radio tagged the whole 9 yards, and the DNR is going to follow and watch what's going on with them, and then they'll have input and say a year from now we'll all get emails and we'll see the input before it's released, and we'll know what's going on. It's either going to be a make or break situation. Either we're wrong or they're right.
What's so special about a blue crab?
What's that?
What's so special about a blue crab?
Everyone loves to eat them, right?
Oh,
yeah, but I mean, I tell you go down there, it doesn't look like they're hurting for them. I mean, damn, I couldn't believe the amount of traps that are set up. It's just ridiculous. As far as
they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Oh man, you drive around that area, you gotta dodge them all.
To answer your question, Wes, it's just
so many of them.
It's part of the ecosystem. You remember about 10 years ago, they were harvesting too many hammerhead sharks for their fins, and because they were selling their fins on the black market. Well, what happened was the skates, the little stingray looking things that hammerheads love to prey on. You could walk on the backs like around the Virginia Beach area because they were just overpopulated with them because the hammerhead shark weren't there to feed on them. Anything that you remove from the ecosystem that is native to that ecosystem, it's going to have a very, very negative effect. So that's why. But the thing is, though, the blue catfish aren't the only fish that are feeding on the blue crabs. The stripers are eating a ton of them too. There's all kind of stuff to prey on.
But I mean, they come up the river every year. They're coming up the river right now. That's what they do.
But they do have a problem.
The river, they're going to eat them. But you're going to say that the blue cats are going to run down into that salinity. The only time that the blue cats are going to be down in the Chesapeake Bay is if we get torrential downpours and the salinity moves out into the bay.
Well, I have read some articles on talking about they actually have been going down and into that salinity and feeding on saltwater species fish and blue crabs.
That has to be proven out. I haven't seen anything proven out, and the DNR hasn't seen anything proven out yet either.
Yeah, I don't remember where that article was. I'll have to try to find it.
But, just like anything, JR. I mean, you could sit right here and Wes can tell you that the stripers are 50 pounds on Hartwell, and he's been hammering them. And he can throw up pictures from Tennessee all over the place, and then all of a sudden somebody's going to believe it, and then Peter can turn around and write the article. You know what I mean? And then you'll have 1,000 people.
Well, yeah, there has to be some level of
trying to chase 50-pound stripers.
You got to have some level of discernment. You have to, check your sources, and you have to.
Until there's a study done, I don't believe any of it.
Right.
I just don't.
Well, you can't blame a catfish for liking blue crab if everybody else does. I mean,
they're overran with blue catfish on the James River. There's commercial guys out there.
Look at Parrish in Mississippi. Okay, you had a situation where that Mississippi River got so low in its banks, the salinity pushed way up. I mean, way up, farther than I think it's ever had, and it pushed all the catfish up. People that were normally catching brim off their docks were literally catching speckled trout. You know what I mean? They were catching trout and they were catching all kinds of saltwater stuff. They were throwing nets and catching saltwater stuff where they always caught freshwater stuff. They went down and did a tournament with the king cat. Man, they killed it. I don't know if you've seen those weights and you've seen how many fish were caught. People to this day keep going to that area. Even though that water's up, the catfish are still hanging around that area. And every time one of them grain lifts goes off, it's like a dinner bell. And they go ballistic. And they're pulling them out 40s and 50s all day. You can catch 30, 40 of them a day. Depends how long you want to be out there fishing for them. So that's telling me that they're not sitting down in the salinity, that they're moving out of the salinity.
Now, JR said that fishing on the James River is better than it is on the Mississippi.
I don't know where he got that idea.
I think the James River is the mecca for trophy blues.
I don't agree with that at all. I think the James River is a great river, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't say it's a mecca for blues. Have you ever fished the Mississippi?
90s are fairly common on the James River.
Have you ever fished the Mississippi?
Have not, but I have friends that have. It depends on what part of the Mississippi
you
fish.
That Mississippi, what it's about. I mean, you catch a shitload of fish on the Mississippi.
Yeah, I don't really care about.
I ever did on the Mississippi. The first day we put 32 blues in the boat.
I don't care about quantity.
What's that?
I don't care about quantity, Thomas.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you what. We were catching better fish than you catch on Wiley. We were literally throwing back.
That's not saying anything, brother. That's not saying anything.
We were throwing 30s and 32s back all day long.
Yeah, that's nothing. I mean,
I guess we put 28 in the boat.
I guess it depends on, context. I'm talking trophy fishing. I'm talking, 50 plus pound, at least 50.
Well, there was plenty of those weighed in as well.
I just don't think I don't think the Mississippi.
I think our biggest was 47 pounds when we were out there last year.
I don't think the Mississippi can compete with the James River on trophy catfish.
I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. The Mississippi is twice as wide, has 3 times the amount of water going through it. And it's just, there's so much area, it's ridiculous.
I mean, the Great Lakes
Mississippi's huge.
The Great Lakes are huge too, but there aren't huge catfish in there. Doesn't matter out the size of the water.
Lakes, talking a totally different temperature. Yeah. I mean, that water's a lot colder. Them catfish aren't going to thrive up there. Only thing that's going to thrive up there is possibly channel cats.
Yeah.
You're talking different types of water, really.
Different types of water. Which area of the Mississippi are you referring to?
I fish Vicksburg. But I mean, if you look at the weigh-in on it. Look at the weigh-in on the king cat just the other day. I think it was last weekend. They were down in my parish, and I think that the average size fish they were catching was 45 pounds.
Wes, I don't know about you, whether it's Mississippi or the James River, whatever, they're all still wet dish rags.
Let's see. I'm reading a survey done on William and Mary .edu news stories. It's a study that was done. Let's see. The survey data collected in the James, York, and Rappahannock rivers between 1975 and 2017 reveal a gradual downstream expansion in the range of blue catfish from tidal freshwaters to habitats exceeding 10 PSU. The species has been collected in salinity as high as 21.8 PSU in the James River. Is 21.8? Is that pretty high? 21.8 PSU.
Levels. I'm definitely not sure on the levels.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's certain parts, like when we go to Venice, I think Mike was trying to explain this to me. Certain times of the year, depending on the flow of the Mississippi, at any given time, you can have 15, 16, up to 20 different species of fish in one area. It just depends on the way the water's mixing. He said you can have largemouth bass, catfish, tarpon, of course, sharks, redfish, trout. It's just, he said you could have multiple species in the area in the Mississippi when the water just mixes just right. And he said when you find those spots, he said it's just epic fishing.
What I did enjoy? I did enjoy the James and fishing out there and watching a sturgeon jump out of the water. I couldn't believe how many sturgeon. I mean, just to see the amount jump out of the water on a daily basis was ridiculous. You're talking 8-foot sturgeon coming clear out of the water and smashing down right in front of you.
So I'd love to catch a sturgeon. I love the idea of catching a huge freshwater fish on like heavy saltwater gear, like offshore, like stand-up gear. Like that just it blows my mind that you could catch a sturgeon that large, or even like in Texas, the guys that go after those alligator gar, those 7-foot, 250-pound alligator gar. Like that's what I want.
I know
I
when
mean,
that
when people
done.
talk about gar, it's like nobody wants to catch them in fresh water, but a gar to me is one of the hardest fighting fish in freshwater. I like the way they go left and right. They don't, they're just real sporadic. It's almost like would be a freshwater tarpon to me.
Yeah, they tail walk.
Yeah. That's that's why I used to tell people, fighting is just like for the fight. And there again, I got out of the shark fishing, but if you just like a fight in saltwater, you're not going to beat a damn spinner shark. You got speed, you got power, you got agility. You got spinner sharks that will actually jump and they'll outperform a tarpon acrobatically with their hands down. But they're a shark, so people don't really want to fool with them because they've got that name.
I guarantee you these fish are eating blue crabs. Loads of them.
What I noticed about the sharks and fishing the sharks out off of Kerr Beach, they've had one good run in them. You let them go on that one good run, then you can work them in, and then they just kind of walk the shore back and forth. And I was literally pulling 6-footers on 20-pound test.
6-foot sharks.
Daryl Barney said, just go saltwater fish and amberjack trashy as catfish. Okay, well, when you go to Chesapeake Bay, Daryl, what are you going for? You're going for a fish to fight because you damn sure ain't keeping them motherfuckers up there.
I think it's funny that the guys that catch and release fishermen try to make fun of people for fishing for so-called trash fish when they're not keeping their fish. They're not eating their fish. Yeah, they don't keep their fish. They catch, but they're going to get on to you for catching something that because it's got the stigma is from. It's not as good a table fare as other fish. That's what they're basing it on. So
it's like, okay, I'm catching.
They're so hypocritical.
I'm not going to eat the amberjack because he's nasty as hell. But I'm going to catch a fucking red snapper. Hey, that's cool as shit. I can't eat him, but it's cool because I caught him.
Or I'm going to catch striper, which are some of the best eating fish in the world, and let them go.
Yeah. So why does it matter what you're catching if you're going to release it anyway?
The fly fishermen, the trout fishermen that are catching the trout and letting them go. You're letting them go. If you let fish go, the cat fishermen Thomas, we're letting fish go. We can't say shit to these guys that are catching amberjack or sharks or whatever because we're letting our fish go too.
I'll tell you, if I had the money and I was really well off, I wouldn't be touching fresh water, man. The salt water is just, it's so addicting. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, you can catch powerhouse fish out there. I mean, and really put up a challenge against your gear. I can't find anything around here that's going to put a challenge.
About saltwater, what turns me on to it is you go out there, you never know what you're going to get. I mean,
that's another great thing.
I mean, you'll catfish, you'll catch catfish or maybe striper. That's it, But you go out there and you target, let's say, shark, or grouper or amberjack, you might catch like 15 different species as well.
Me and JR,
after I go, I have a hard time, getting back into the swing of things and getting back out on the lakes. It's just, man, just to have the force of the fish and feeling the force of the fish. It's amazing to me.
Me and JR, we were trolling for wahoo, and I actually thought it was a wahoo that hit. We got it to the boat when we seen it, and I think it might have been 15, maybe 18-pound blackfin tuna, and that son of a bitch smoked. You remember that, JR?
Mm-hmm.
He smoked a Talica 16. I mean, and I had some drag on him. I mean, we were set up to wahoo fishing. I could have swore that it was a wahoo. This fish like 15, 16 pounds. It's just like stuff in saltwater. A 5-pound saltwater fish will drag a 50-pound freshwater fish backwards. Any of them. It's just unbelievable. Go ahead, JR. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to address. We got some haters in the chat here. This guy Daniel Skipper, he says, listening to catfishermen argue is special. You know what's special? You know what's more special than that, Daniel? The fact that you're listening. Here you are listening.
Damn.
So I did put a nice shark on that Thorium 50.
You like it?
Yeah, it was all right. I changed the line on it. I mean, it was great. The only thing is it was just a little too much for what we were doing. you know, to be able to get it out. I put it on a 10-footer, and you couldn't cast it out. I'd have to drop baits with it. But I wound up going with 12-footers, and I wound up using the casting specials. And I put 20-pound on with a 50-pound leader and a 200-pound top shot. And I was able to get it out to the third breakers with that. And I caught more sharks in the third breakers than I did off of our, lines that we had out over 475, 500 yards. I mean, it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Royce, he went from 0 to 100 mile an hour on that shark fishing, didn't he?
Oh man, we had a blast, man. I'll tell you what, he's the most humble dude. Hanging out with him it's a breath of fresh air, man. He's basically the salt of the earth, man. The guy's not cocky, he's very humble, and he just loves to fish, man.
Who y'all talking about? Daryl Barney?
No, Zach Royce.
Oh, Zach. Okay.
Yeah, Zach Royce. He's
well, I mean, dude. catching a couple state records, within a day tends to humble a guy.
Yeah, he's awesome dude, man. I guess this year we're gonna do it again this year, but we just bought an AquaCat. It's being built right now. I guess we won't have it for a couple months, but we're gonna start using that to take our baits out. But honestly, out of Kerr Beach, every time we put out 475-yard lines, we'd have run-throughs while we were fighting them, and they would literally run through 200-pound line like it was nothing.
Oh yeah, like butter.
But, you'd have a nice one on, and bam, gone.
Mm-hmm. Why Curry Beach versus anywhere else?
That's just the place that we chose. And it's a hot spot for shark. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. I mean, I watch people. What's that?
This is a pretty good area. I'm just kind of wondering why you guys choose like Curry Beach out of every other beach around.
Yeah, and to watch all the people out there swimming, I'm just like, damn. You know what I mean? Because I just know how many sharks are out there. I mean, you spend one night out there and you catch like 15 sharks in a night, and the smallest one is like 5.5 foot. You're like, geez.
Yeah, when you go swimming, you're basically soaking bait. You're the bait.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like we had a guy taking stuff out in the kayak, and then after everything was going on, then it got a little rough. And when it's rough, the shark fishing's the best, but you got to get your bait out. So we went up going with a thing called an AquaCat. It's made in Australia, and supposedly we watched a bunch of videos on it, and this thing can go through 25-mile-an-hour winds and 10-foot waves and no problem, and take your bait out. So we're gonna try that this summer, and back. I guess we're going again in June. But we're gonna do a couple other trips. I'll go in with Zach the Hatteras here, I guess in October. But we're gonna go for drum. We're not going for shark when we go.
Yeah, let me try to find an AquaCat here so you can.
Oh,
there we go. Is that it, Thomas?
That's it.
That's wild looking.
Yeah, that's it. And we all chipped in. I feel like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 of us chipped in on it. It's not cheap.
I bet it ain't.
And then the batteries, you can't get the batteries from Australia. You got to buy the batteries here in the States because they won't ship the lithium batteries. I guess it's against the rules and regulations. So
yeah,
we're gonna get it, and then we're gonna put all kinds of graphics on it, and then we're gonna start using it.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
So how far can you get a bait out with that thing?
Pretty damn good. I mean, if you use telemetry, you can get it out a lot farther. We're not using telemetry. We're gonna get the unit that actually circles back if we lose signal. It'll come right back to us. But I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head. I haven't looked. When we investigated it, we looked into it. It was perfect.
Okay.
That's
cool. Have something to take off out there and drop your bait and come back. It's pretty sweet.
Well, the thing is there's certain beaches you cannot use drones, especially if you're close to a military base. You can't use drones.
Yeah.
So the only other option is kayaking them out. Or that boat.
Yeah.
We looked into like 10 different boats, and none of them came close to this AquaCat.
I almost think a paddleboard would work better for that than a
to bring baits out.
I mean, not better than the AquaCat, but better than a kayak. Like I think I'd rather go take baits out on a paddleboard versus a kayak because you don't have to worry about a paddleboard getting swamped or it's you could just get. I see guys cutting going out in wetsuits in November on paddleboards. Just the waves just break right over them. They just keep on trucking.
Well, we were using my kayak quite a bit, which is a Coosa HD, and found it to be too heavy. I mean, it's just too heavy of a kayak. Even if you're taking breakers over it, they'll go right through the scupper holes, no problem, and he can stay afloat. But it was just too heavy for him to control.
Right.
Then little cheap. Then there was some guy there that had this little cheap one that he must have got at Walmart or whatever, and that boy would paddle out some baits like it was nothing. You know what I mean?
Like a little 9-footer, like a little 9-foot sit on top. That'd be.
Why don't you get you some kind of remote control boat to take that shit out there? Fuck all that paddling.
That's
what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We're purchasing an AquaCat.
What is that?
It's a bait boat.
Here, I'll show it to you, Wes. It's let me share the screen here. There you go.
Yep. And you say he's having one built. They don't make those. What do they build them as you order them?
Yeah, it's being built in Australia. Yeah. I'm not sure what the lead time. I think the lead time's like 3 or 4 months.
Damn, I believe you could find something around here and not have to wait that long to do the same shit that thing had to do, wouldn't you? Couldn't you?
We looked around. We looked around for like 2 months, and this is the best one we can come up with.
Well, couldn't you just get a nice remote control boat and put a Scotty clip on it? Carry your bait out there.
You probably could if you get the right guy to build it.
You know where I would probably want to go shark fishing in North Carolina would be the hot hole. What they call the hot hole. It's like a discharge out of Southport, North Carolina. They got a discharge out there. It kind of puts you in mind of like fishing Tennessee in front of a dam that boils, like when they turn the wheels on. It's kind of the water's kind of erupting out there like that, and huge black tips are just swarming out there.
What I'd like to do before I die, I'd have to find somebody to go with me. Is I would want to go to the Sebastian Inlet during the fall, during the mullet run. Watch videos of that. You got tarpon, snook. They call it the Mecca. It's the Super Bowl of saltwater sport fishing.
Oh, so it's about like the James River for blues?
No, it's the Sebastian Inlet. They call it the fall mullet run. Dude, mullet will be in there so thick. Tarpon, snook will run them up on the bait, and you'll have thousands, literally, not hundreds, thousands of bait will come out of the water, and you'll see them laying all over the bank flipping. Or they're just running over.
That's coming soon. The mullet run's coming soon.
Yeah.
So how far would I have to drive to go fishing on the Mississippi River to match what I can do on the James River?
How far would you have to go?
Yeah, it's like, are you talking about Mississippi River like in Missouri?
No. I no.
Because I can just drive.
Everything, JR, you know everything. Everything is time of year. Okay. You go to the James in November and you hit that perfect week. There's going to be a perfect week every year. When is it in November? It's when the temps are right and everything's perfect. You'll literally pop 80, 90s out of the James. Okay. Then you can go to the James and you can fish the James all summer long and not even catch anything above 50 pounds. Okay. You go to Santee.
I kind of disagree with that.
Same thing. Winter fishing is better fishing.
Yeah.
Bigger fish.
Yeah, for the most part, late fall, early winter's your prime time for trophy catfish. But the James River, you go night fishing on the James River in the summertime. You go down there in July and August and pop a giant and at night, especially.
You could do the same thing on Santee. You could do it anywhere. But I mean, if you're looking for numbers of trophy fish, winter's where it's at. That's why I fish winter.
Well, early winter. By the time February rolls around, it's pretty slow on the James River.
I mean, yeah, it's slower. You catch less fish, but you catch quality fish.
Yeah.
But this year, I guess. Well, next month I'm doing Santee one weekend. Then I'm gonna head to Alabama. I'll be on Wheeler. and then I'm coming back, and I'll be back with Patriot on the weekend after. So
Patriot.
catfishing.
Yeah. You talking about Patriot James or a different Patriot?
No, Patriot catfishing. Kevin Breedlove and Roger Breedlove.
Oh, I see.
To take out disabled vets. I do that like 2-3 times a year.
That's awesome, Thomas.
One of my favorite things to do. And their organization is absolutely awesome. They're I don't even know how many years they're going on now. I think they're going on 6 years now. But and it keeps growing. So
well,
the only reason why we're going to Alabama is due to King County, Alabama, so we can get the end for the whatchamacallit, the classic on Santee in November.
Wes, Pete, y'all got anything else you want to touch on?
I'm done. I'm ready for bed. It's been a long day for me.
Yeah, me too.
All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for coming around. Thanks for coming on, Thomas. And we'll see you guys next week on the Real Fisherman.
Hey, hold on a minute. I just read something on Facebook. This guy put on here. He said, everybody's talking about how they would rock those orange jumpsuits, if they got locked up. Mm-hmm. He said, half of y'all motherfuckers wouldn't rock a seatbelt ticket without telling on 8 motherfuckers.
That's the truth. All right. Good night.
I hope that helped you out, Wes. I hope that bubbler issue helped you out.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate the info, buddy.
Yeah, like I said, I used to use that setup years ago, so I knew exactly what you were talking about.
All right.
But I use oxygen now. And an SBT.
Yeah.
I just bought a little old Todd. It's a Todd something. It's just, it's just like, well, it's kind of like a travel tank, but I put a hinge on it, drilled a hole for it, made me like the plugs you use. Like if you plug in a boat, you can plug it in and turn it a little bit and then flip it up to make it tight. I had to drill a hole in the bottom of it to make a plug for a drain. And it's just something simple that I can take in on and off because I'm not drilling shit in that boat. I'm not drilling.
All right, gents, I'm out. See ya.
All right. I done figured out when you drill a hole in a boat, I don't give a fuck. It depreciates the value of it. Every hole you
I was looking to buy a new tank recently, and I started looking around, and I was just kind of like shell shocked by the prices. I mean, it's like almost everything almost doubled. I was like, whoa.
I got this tank for $150 and it'll do. And when it gets hot, if I want to fish, I'll spray or wrap that sumbitch with some insulation and be golden.
So the only thing that's wrong with my tank, I'll be honest with you, is just the seal around the top. I just got to re-glue it in or buy a new seal and put a new seal in it. Other than that, I don't have any issues with it.
Yeah. What kind of tank you got?
Opened it up, the seal fell in. The seal fell in this weekend. I was like, damn it, man. And then I started looking at other tanks and I was like, oh God.
What you got, Thomas? SB2?
Yeah, I use a 50 SBT. Yeah.
Yeah, those the seals always fall off.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good tank. I mean, I've kept bait alive. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the Shad Shack. For years, I used the Shad Shack until it failed. But at that point, I couldn't really do anything with it. It was already in the walls. So then I wound up getting the SBT, and the gentleman over in Pendleton made it for me. Ron Vest, I think his name is.
Yeah. Ron Vest.
Yeah, so he made it for me, and now I'm looking at the other tanks, and I had Extreme. I was talking to the guy from Extreme, but man, they're proud of their tanks.
Mm-hmm.
They are. So I don't know. I mean, lately,
I think it's when they the Wicked Tuna when they remember they Extreme went on wasn't it Extreme West went on Wicked Tuna?
Yeah. Yep.
I met Damon Milcher met me in North Carolina when I bought mine from him. I was waiting on the males to be built. I didn't have no issues with it. It was a nice tank. Didn't lose no bait in it. But at the end of the day, I think these tanks is if you got good aeration, you got a Danco, you're taking care of your bait like you would. SBT's no better than a Shad Shack. A Shad Shack's no better than a Extreme. It's just all in how you want to use it. Use these bait
tanks. The only thing I like about the Extreme tanks is what I've noticed on them is I could put a system in there where I could change out the socks. So if I wanted to put carbon in it, or if I wanted to put, what is that, chromalite in it, or whatever it is, the one that takes out the nitrogen or the
ammonia.
Ammonia, yeah, I can actually just hook a sock up to it and it'll just run right through it. That I liked. I was pretty impressed with that.
I think you can do that
Feel
without
like-
any. Yeah, without
the
any tank.
sock. Now, I like the sock filter. I use the sock filter on my Extreme. The only thing I don't like about it is it fills up real quick. If you got a lot of
Yeah.
spills going, you really have to keep an eye on it because it'll
But you
stop up
can
real quick.
you can convert like a filter box type filtration system on a tank to a sock
Yeah,
filter system pretty easily.
Yeah,
right?
you could. I mean, look at the bait we're looking to keep. I mean, gizzard shad. Here it is, one of the slimiest fish. You know what I mean? If they're not cured out, I mean, they're just. If you're netting them yourself, you got. I mean, damn, dude, you put that sock on there. A lot of time we're curing our own bait out. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
you put a sock on there. By the time I get home, and I'm doing a 4-hour ride, by the time I get home, that bait's dead.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That sock is not going to take it.
No.
You know, I mean, once it's cured out and I keep it in my tank here for 2 days, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Then I can take that bait and I can use it and I can run with it. But
I wonder if you
lately,
were to-
what I've been doing is I just like when if I'm netting gizzard chads or whatever the case may be, I'll just throw them in my live well. I'll just throw oxygen on them. Then I'll take them in the back tank and put them in the tank where I got a biofilter and everything, and it sucks everything out.
Mhm.
And then I'll start using the bait again.
Yeah.
But I'm working out a deal with this guy down in Santee where he's going to have my bait for me down there. So hopefully I don't have to do that no more.
Mhm. That'd be
All
nice.
right, guys, I'm out of here. Y'all be
Good night.
good. Good
Good night,
seeing
everybody.
you.
Too.
Thanks, Thomas.
Have a great night.